from a Delhi dairy giant to a pan-India powerhouse. Mother Dairy is betting big on growth, scale and diversification. Today on this edition of Big Business Bet, we speak with Dr Meenesh Shah, the chairman of Mother Dairy as well as the National Dairy Development Board, to understand the road ahead to building the next food powerhouse. Hi sir, thank you so much for joining me on WION today. Firstly, I would like to talk about the demand scenario, right? It's the summer season and for both beverages and milk, it's the peak season, right? So how is the demand shaping up this particular year and which categories are selling the fastest?
I think the highest demand is coming from the milk products segment. All the value added products like cheese, buttermilk, lassi, ice creams, they are seeing the growth rate more than 25%. And this trend is in fact continuing after COVID. Consumers have now opted for the trusted brands, and Mother Dairy is one among, and also hygienically packed products, and that is actually responsible for such a high growth rate for the value added products.
So sir, that's about the demand, but I would also like to talk about the production side of it. So with increasing pressure on fodder, your input costs, especially with the logistics, that is the fuel prices have been risen. How are you managing that and still protecting your margins? You already took one price hike in May. Do you think more could be likely in 2026 given the rising input costs?
So in fact, if you see the price increase trend for the milk, generally the milk cooperatives in the India and Mother Dairy, we generally take one price increase every year, and that too to compensate farmers for the higher input cost for the farmers level. Last May in 25 we had a price increase, and then very recently we had taken one price increase, again 2 rupees a litre. And in fact in last 1 year already this price increase is factored into the higher amount which is already paid to the farmers. With regard to the current geopolitical tensions which are happening and the crude price going up, the input cost is rising. So it's about 30-35% increase in the some of the inputs which we are buying, like packing material, for example, where plastic is the main raw material. And as of now, we have been able to absorb this cost, and we do not intend to pass on any price increase in the input cost to consumer. Let's see, how far this pressure continues, at what level the price increase is happening. As long as the present level we are able to manage. If the situation continues for a long time, we will see. But as of now, we have no intention to increase the price again for the milk and milk products.
Right. And sir, speaking of the consumer, you've already been a big name going for that morning walk and evening walk to the Mother Dairy milk booth was a thing. But now you have a presence across India. So which is the next big market that you're tapping for your pan-India presence? I believe over 30% of your sales are already coming from outside of the Delhi-NCR region. So how can this contribution rise, and also how soon is that going to happen?
Yeah, you are right. I think Mother Dairy always is perceived as a NCR brand, and it's a very strong brand in the NCR, and consciously Mother Dairy decided a few years back to get the national presence, enter into the market, other markets. We have been in Mumbai market, for example, for fairly long time now. But then most of the other metros, our presence was not that significant. Partly because, there are always regional brands, again cooperatives, which are actually, if you see, all these brands are under one umbrella set up during the Operation Flood time. And, then we decided that we somehow have to need to change the perception. There is a, market is very big. There is a, place for every market, and main competition is actually from the unorganized market, because adulteration is something which again is actually spoiling the image of the dairy sector, and therefore it is important that we grow the organized market, offer the consumers trusted brands, and that's how we decided to go beyond NCR We started focusing on Mumbai, for example. We are getting a good, healthy growth rate in Mumbai. Very recently, we have started our operations through a cooperative processing plant in Hyderabad, for example, and this trend will continue. As you have said, last few years, our growth rate in non-NCR market is more than NCR market, and we hope to continue with the same. Explore more markets, enter into those markets. Our presence in Bihar, presence in Rajasthan, for example, is giving us a good traction, and going forward, we will enter new markets and establish Mother Dairy as a national brand.
Right. So new plants are coming up everywhere in India, right? Like you just mentioned, one in Hyderabad. So is capacity expansion now your biggest growth lever?
I think so, because we started milk procurement operations, for example, in Maratha Vidarbha area. It was the area where there was no organized player who were buying milk from the farmers, and NDDB was given the responsibility, which in turn Mother Dairy accepted the same, and we started procuring milk, giving market access to farmers in those areas. Now we have presence in entire Marathwada Vidarbha, and that necessitated a need for us to set up a processing facility there. So we have decided now, already a 6 lakh liter milk processing plant is being set up in Nagpur, which will be ready very soon. And therefore I think the need for the processing capacity will come up in most of the other markets as well. And Mother Dairy has already committed a capex of about 2,000 crore as of now, not only into milk but also for the products in the fruit and vegetable segment. And we hope to, I think, invest more in the processing capacities. As I told, establish the presence in the non-NCR market also, and get the growth of 15%, 20% every year for the Mother Dairy, Dhara, and the Supple brands.
Right. So you were saying there are plants coming up in Bihar, Uttarakhand, Nagpur. Nagpur will be operational soon. And you were talking about milk procurement as well. But how do you scale all of this without hurting margins and, of course, keeping farmers at the center?
So traditionally, actually, the dairy sector, if you say it's a low margin, business, we believe more in masses. And if you see, it's actually the mass production with a very low margin. All the players, they know that margins are very low. But because we have the high volumes, in absolute terms, we do make some margins and then pass on the higher share of consumer rupee back to the producer. So that is the philosophy which is developed in our country with the dairy cooperative model, and Mother Dairy is also part of that philosophy.
Right. And so beyond dairy, you are investing heavily in Supple, fresh fruit, food, and processed products as well. So is Mother Dairy evolving into a full, blown FMCG brand? Would it be right to say that?
I think so, because see, our milk producer basically, they are also growing vegetable, for example. They are also into fruit production or maybe edible oil seeds production. And therefore, I think NDDB as a whole has consciously adopted a approach, why can't going beyond dairy? So if we have to extend our value chain beyond milk, I think there is a case for us to enter into fruit and vegetable segment on a large scale, provide better price to the producer, better share of consumer rupee to the producer.
So speaking of products and non-dairy products, there's also this big trend, and of course basis the nutritious value and the health constraints. There's a growing demand, especially among millennials and the Gen Z consumers, for lactose-free products. Is that something that you could be looking, at entering into?
I don't know exactly in our country whether lactose-free milk is actually a need. Basically, it's something to do with your genes, and there are some individuals who can't digest lactose, and you will have to they will have the digestibility issue actually for when they drink milk. So if there is a growing segment and if there is a need, Mother Dairy can surely come out with the same. It's not a big thing to offer the lactose-free milk. But as of now, I don't think the market has matured for such products in our country.
Right. So, sir, that's about the Indian market, right? But US and global markets, they're also on your radar. So, what's that single biggest challenge that you feel is there to expand the Indian dairy sector?
There are two things, which you will have to feel, because milk is a perishable product. Plus, there are various phytosanitary, regulatory framework which is available between the countries, different countries for export. So there are two ways you can handle the export opportunities. Large part of trade which is happening is for the commodities, basically the milk powder and butter, because countries like New Zealand, for example, of the what milk they produce, almost 90% is exported and 10% is what they need for their own consumption. Whereas our own country, if you see, we almost consume everything what we produce. So first thing is the food security of our own people. Considering large part of lacto-vegetarian population, I think the first thing is to satisfy our own demand, and as of now we are fortunate both the production and demand growth rate are growing simultaneously at the same level. In the event you will have to export and get the higher value for your product, so that you are pass on better price to the producer, I think we will need to export, and there are some issues as of now. We are trying to address those issues so that at least we are able to export, and we are export ready in case the situation arises. The other model which can emerge, which Amul has done or which other cooperatives are also doing, is to establish your brand outside. Like in US, Amul has launched the milk. So you go there, buy the milk locally, processed into it, and sell under your brand name. So that is one more model which is available. And Mother Dairy as of now is exploring both these options. So we do export in many countries as of now, where there are not much challenges for exporting our products.
Okay. So that's going beyond India, but within India, in this age of quick delivery, 10-minute deliveries, do you think quick commerce is going to be becoming as important as that iconic Mother Dairy booth?
It's not going to be. It is actually. So there is no option for any player in the market to tap to those markets, be ready with the demand or with the expectations of the consumers, and adapt yourself, make changes into the product portfolio, make changes into the delivery mechanism, and ensure that when the product reaches to the consumer, the proper cold chain is maintained. When the consumer gets the product, it still has the product as per the specifications of the regulatory authorities. So it's a big challenge for all the players. But then there is no other option.
And sir, as competition is intensifying, whether it's Amul, whether it's regional brands, or the unorganized market that you were talking about, what is going to be Mother Dairy's key differentiator over the next 5 years?
It's largely the quality of the milk and milk products. I think you have seen the products, how different it is from the other players. The other thing is also the promise to the consumers that the brand which is sustained for more than 50 years, it's actually also changing as per the needs of the consumer, offering more products in the portfolio of the consumer, and also is sensitive to the nutritional profile of the products which we are catering to the consumers.
And so beyond competition and global expansion, I would also like to talk about the sustainability aspect of Mother Dairy. You recently launched this very interesting concept of packaging, where the packet is going to get decomposed very fast as compared to the existing time that it takes. So if you could just shed some more light on it, and how exactly it's going to set you apart from other brands, and if adoption is going to increase across India.
We were looking for some of the alternatives, for making the sector sustainable, and one such option for us was to actually make the polyfill which we use for packing the milk degradable. And I think we have been working for more than 4 or 5 years now. Mother dairy teams, also we have the research organizations which is helping us, and the IDMC, which is our subsidiary, who will going to manufacture this film. And we got the breakthrough. We have seen that it can be naturally degraded, means in 2 years time this film in the soil, it will degrade completely without any microplastics or the heavy metals or toxic material living for the environment. And this is a good beginning.
Right. Okay. And so now we'll just do a quick rapid fire round. So Amul, regional brands or D2C players, who do you think is your biggest competitor?
I don't think there is any competitor.
Okay. And quick commerce or milk booths, where do you see bigger opportunity?
Quick commerce.
Okay. And one category that will drive the next phase of growth for Mother Dairy?
Value added products.
Okay. And lastly, one word for Mother Dairy in 2030.
Ma Jaisi.
All right. All right, sir. Thank you so much for joining me on WION Big Business Bet.
Thank you so much.
That's the big business bet that Mother Dairy is making, expanding nationally while balancing growth, competition, and consumer affordability. Thank you for watching us on WION.